In the world of boxing, mythical matchups often stir the imagination of fans more than actual fights. Few debates spark as much passion as pitting legends from different eras against one another. One of the most compelling fantasy bouts in recent memory is Terence "Bud" Crawford versus Floyd "Money" Mayweather Jr. At first glance, many would instinctively lean toward Mayweather, who retired unbeaten at 50-0 and is regarded as one of the greatest defensive masterminds in history. Yet, Crawford's rise, dominance, and unique skill set provide a genuine argument that he could be the man to solve Mayweather's riddle. Crawford's versatility, a stylistic nightmare. The greatest strength Crawford brings into the discussion is his adaptability. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated the ability to seamlessly switch from orthodox to southpaw, confusing opponents and nullifying their game plans. Mayweather thrived on reading his opponents, breaking them down over the course of a fight, and exploiting predictable tendencies. Crawford, however, rarely fights in a predictable rhythm. His ability to change angles, adjust his stance, and create openings would force Mayweather to work harder than usual to find consistent reads. In addition, Crawford's counterpunching instincts mirror some of Mayweather's best qualities. He has an uncanny ability to bait opponents into overcommitting and then punish them with precision. Against an elite defensive genius like Mayweather, having the tools to counter the counterpuncher is critical, and Crawford may be one of the few in modern boxing history who can do it. Size and power advantages. Another key argument in Crawford's favor is his natural size and power. Mayweather competed across multiple divisions, but his most dominant years were at super featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. At welterweight, Mayweather's skills carried him to victory over larger opponents, but he was not known as a destructive puncher. Crawford, on the other hand, has carried his knockout power from lightweight all the way up to welterweight. Crawford's finishing instinct is elite. Once he hurts an opponent, he rarely lets them off the hook. His blend of timing and accuracy makes his power even more dangerous. Against Mayweather, who often relied on making opponents hesitant to commit, Crawford's willingness to engage with authority could tilt exchanges in his favor. Killer instinct versus safe-to-first mastery. Mayweather built his career on controlling distance, neutralizing risk, and dictating pace. His brilliance lay in forcing fights to unfold on his terms. Crawford, however, is not a one-dimensional pressure fighter nor a reckless brawler. He takes calculated risks and turns up the aggression when he senses weakness. Unlike some of Mayweather's past opponents, many of whom were content to survive or reluctant to take chances, Crawford thrives in high-pressure moments. This killer instinct could present problems for Mayweather, who sometimes allowed opponents to steal rounds by simply outworking him. Crawford would not hesitate to force the action when necessary, potentially making judges lean his way in a closely contested fight. The modern evolution of skill. Another consideration is that Crawford benefits from building his career in the post-Mayweather era. Fighters of Crawford's generation grew up studying Mayweather's blueprint, his shoulder roll, defensive positioning, and tactical control. Crawford, in many ways, represents an evolved fighter who has integrated those lessons into his own arsenal. While no one can copy Mayweather perfectly, Crawford's awareness of those strategies and his ability to adapt could make him uniquely prepared for such a test. Moreover, Crawford has proven his dominance against a deep pool of champions. From dismantling Yuriorkis Gamboa at lightweight to stopping Jeff Horn, Kell Brook, and Sean Porter at welterweight, to humiliating Errol Spence Jr. in a historic undisputed title fight, Crawford's resume shows he can neutralize a wide variety of styles. That adaptability would be crucial against Mayweather, who prided himself on having no kryptonite. Psychological edge, composure and confidence. One of Mayweather's greatest weapons was psychological. His ability to frustrate opponents, make them miss, and humiliate them in real time often broke their will before the fight was over. Crawford, however, is perhaps one of the most composed fighters in modern boxing. He does not get rattled easily, does not rush when behind, and exudes quiet confidence rather than brash arrogance. Against Mayweather, this temperament could prevent him from falling into the mental traps that plagued so many others. The case against Crawford, and why it's still a debate. Of course, one cannot dismiss Mayweather's brilliance. His resume is unmatched. Victories over Oscar de la Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, and countless others. His defensive mastery and ring IQ were unparalleled. Mayweather rarely allowed fighters to land clean, and his mastery of distance made even powerful punches look ordinary. Crawford, despite his dominance, has not faced the same breadth of all-time great opponents across divisions. Yet, in a mythical head-to-head, resumes are less important than styles. And styles make fights. Crawford's unique blend of versatility, size, finishing ability, and composure gives him a legitimate pathway to troubling Mayweather, perhaps more than anyone Mayweather ever faced in reality. Conclusion: a fight for the imagination. Would Terence Crawford beat Floyd Mayweather in a mythical matchup? The truth is unknowable. Mayweather's flawless record and reputation as one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time will always give him the edge in many fans' eyes. However, dismissing Crawford's chances ignores the qualities that make him special. His adaptability, power, finishing instinct, and mental composure form a combination that no opponent, even Mayweather, could afford to underestimate. That is why this debate continues to resonate. It highlights the evolution of boxing across eras, the clash of styles that define greatness, and the enduring magic of imagining two generational talents sharing the ring. Crawford may not dethrone Mayweather's historical legacy, but in a mythical matchup, he has every argument to make it a true 50-50 fight, and perhaps even tilt the scales his way.